What do you think students get out of that? That really, that's history teaching at its very best, isn't it? When the students are saying, oh, you know, it's the class passed in a blink of an eye. What is it that they're gaining from that experience?
I think that they are discovering knowledge by themselves. I could try very hard to tell them how passionate I am about issues of gender, but if they don't play with it and discover it, you know, it's not the same. You know, you could tell your daughter how many times, you know, you should have done this, but until someone else tells it and they discover it by themselves, it has a different effect. So I think something similar may be happening here.
And do you think the process of studying history in that way, do you think that gives them any skills or outlook or attributes that will help them in the future?
Absolutely, because what I'm telling them, you know, you're practicing democracy, which is you are looking at different points of view, you are filtering that information, who said it, why, when, and then you're evaluating that information, and then you're coming to your own conclusions. You're not accepting only one source. And this is something you have to do when you watch TV, when you're hearing the radio, anything in life. When your telephone bill is incorrect and you have to write a letter, you know, what are going to be your points of evidence and your arguments? When you're in business, you also have to put together a case. So there are lots of transferable skills, some people say, and I think there are.
And things that they can use in their individual lives as individuals, but also as part of their communities or society.
Absolutely, and one of the things I am working more on now is to see how in this process I can specifically help my students position themselves in other cultures, as people from another culture. Because at Indiana University we have found, and there are the numbers, that our students have enormous difficulty positioning themselves as someone of getting outside of their privilege to get into people of other culture. So people are not talking to each other. If they see, oh no, you are Latino, you are African American, yes, hi, you know, but you don't have any substantial conversation. And when they go abroad, they're not trying to see how knowing another culture open your mind as to how this other culture have solved problems in the past and how can I benefit from that, the joy of knowing. They are just seeing as something that, okay, that's cultural, that's nice, it's exotic. To say that I went to Spain, that I went to this place or the other. And I think we need that more in the 21st century, because if we are going to become a real global world.
I was going to ask you, how would you try to articulate or describe the value of that to people who fund this kind of teaching, the policymakers? How might you describe that? I mean, it's interesting what you were saying there in terms of the global world now.
I think that what history has to offer is, and this is a big question that we have right now, when funding is becoming less and less, and when there is so much need for education, good education. I think there is no replacement for the way in which history or the liberal arts help people think. There's a move in Indiana for more type of technical schooling. The legislature has a preference for a technical school, a community school, that is just preparing laborers. But they are not preparing someone who could have a vision for the future, who can understand the world in all of its complexity and solve problems, thinking in multiple layers. And in those terms. So we have to see where are our priorities. And I think there's no replacement for a liberal education in that sense. And I think history is probably one of the best.